2, 3, funky.
My darling, I love you, 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 I love you.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? So this is an audio test. I got a couple comments actually on both of my channels. Shout out to Mr. G saying that I needed a microphone. Well, I have a microphone. The issue that I was running into is for the camera mount that I have, I had a cold shoe mount to hold the camera at the top, and I seem to have misplaced that mount. So I didn't want to have to go out and buy another one. Not that they're expensive, but I didn't want to have to buy another one. I thought I'll just find that one, and I kept looking. Mr. G said something in one video like, hey, you need a microphone, and I was like, man, I need to hurry up and find this dang mount. Then I posted a video the other day, and then he said, hey, you need a microphone. So then I was like, you know what, I need to just buy another mount. So that's what I did. I bought another mount. So hopefully this audio sounds better than what it has been sounding, because the microphone is hooked up. I'm in my truck right now, which I don't necessarily like recording in my truck because my exhaust is really loud, but that's why I'm doing the test with the microphone in here to see if it does sound that much better. And I have the AC blowing full blast because I have a shotgun mic facing towards me, so this should correct those issues. It is crazy hot out here, but I talked about this a few videos ago. This is the little cage that I got, or enclosure, or whatever you want to call it, for my dogs, and I got it for free. So a guy moved in a couple houses down, and this deal was set up in the backyard for the guy that lived there before him. But anyways, the guy that moved in didn't need it, so he was putting it outside and was just gonna say whoever wants it. So I just happened to be going by, or my wife actually happened to be going by, saw that they were putting it out, told me about it, so I went down there and talked to him, and he's like, I don't need it, I don't have a dog, it just needs to get out of my yard. So went over there, picked it up. The only thing that I needed to do was, it was missing, I don't know if y'all can see that, it was missing some of these little clasps to hold the panels together. He took it apart and just really didn't care. It was just kind of throwing pieces everywhere, so he wasn't 100% sure. But I dropped like $20 in little clips to get this put together fully. So what I'm gonna do now, I got some trees that are hanging a little bit lower than what I'd like, but I don't have time to cut them right now, so I'm not gonna cut them right now. But what I am gonna do is get a tarp over this thing, and then I got some bungee cords, so we're gonna bungee cord a tarp over the top in order to help keep the sun off of my dogs when they're in there. Now, I do need to cut the grass, but as you can tell, it's pretty decently shaded because of this big old tree right here. But we want to provide more shade, and this isn't something they're going to stay outside in all the time. The plan behind this, and in wanting to get one of these and just kind of getting lucky, was when my daughter gets here and my daughter and her cousins are outside playing in my backyard, we got tire swings. I'm going to get a swing set, and you guys will see as we get more stuff for the backyard. But as we get more stuff, I want the girls or the kids to be able to play outside in the back and not have to worry about the dogs running them over, but at the same time allow the dogs to be outside and not just stuck inside all day, because they do like being outside. So that's the idea behind this. It gives them an area where they can come out here and play while the kids are out here, and then if the kids aren't out here, then they have the entire backyard to roam around on their own. So that's what we're going to be doing right now. So that took a little bit longer than expected. It took me total about like 30 minutes to get the tarp where I wanted it. And then every single loop all the way around this thing has got bungee cords holding it in place. And then at the very bottom down there, all of those have zip ties holding it down. So this entire deal cost me about $15 at Harbor Freight. So I'll pay 20 bucks for some of the hardware to get this thing put together, and then $15 for the tarp and the bungees. I'm obviously going to be able to use the bungees longer. The tarp may get a little bit torn up because the edge is up here, and then if my dog chews it up, but it's a $7 or $8 tarp, not a huge deal. I'm really not that upset if that happens. It's just more to, like I said, provide more shade for the dogs. So it is significantly cooler in here. I had to cut some of the trees because I didn't want the trees scratching this thing from the top and tearing holes in it, but I just need to come in here, weed eat all this area out, and this thing is ready to go. I'm gonna put dog water, I was gonna say dog food, I'm gonna put water in here for the dogs. I'm trying to come up with a system where it can be like a self-feeding system as far as the water is concerned, so I don't have to keep checking it every day or every other day. But it is definitely cooler in here. So while the dogs are outside, it should be better. I'm actually gonna go get them, bring them, put them outside, and see how they enjoy it for now. Get them used to it. All right. So I didn't show you guys me putting the dogs into the kennel once it was all done. I put the dogs in there. Well, the bottom part of this fence, I forgot to tell you guys about that. The bottom part of this fence was a little bit rotted out, so it's a little bit torn. So when I put my dogs in here, my puppy was so excited about trying to be with me or be next to me that she ran over and forced herself out. Sorry, I'm dumping water out of this tarp. She ran over and forced herself out, and I saw her do that. She cried when she did it a little bit, so I didn't want her to cut herself. So I'm waiting until this door is completely fixed before I leave them in here for a longer period of time. Like I said, the other day was just supposed to be a little trial deal. I put them in here. I was going to get my camera so I can record them in here. But like I said, just me walking away, my puppy tried to get out, and I don't want her to scratch or cut herself open and injure herself. So I'm back out here. It's been a few days since that day. They haven't been using this other than just coming in and out, but they haven't been staying in here. But my puppy decides she wants to rip any and everything apart. So she tore my tarp already. This thing's only been up for like 4 days. And like I said earlier, this is a cheap tarp, so not a huge deal. But she saw the little piece flapping, I guess, and just decided she wanted to tear that piece up. So that whole bottom corner is torn up, which doesn't make a huge difference because that's just the extra part. It still covers all of the top, and then like I said, all of the back right there. So it is very well shaded. The other thing that I ran into that I didn't even think about, it really doesn't rain a lot where I'm at, but the other day, of course, it did rain. So it made this droop down a little bit more, pulling the bungee cords a little bit tight, and then it was hanging because of the amount of water that was in it. So I came in here with my knife the other day, very small little slit, and I just poked a hole so that all that water would leak out. And even with as hot as it's been, the ground is still wet in here. That was from yesterday. The ground is still wet in here because of how much shade this is providing. The sun's not just, sucking up that water. It's not evaporating as quick. So that was kind of a cool little test for me to see that, hey, this thing is working. It is a lot cooler under here than it is outside of it. The other thing that my puppy did was I had a pile of brush. You guys saw that I cut some of the limbs, not very much, just enough to where it wouldn't be scraping at the top of the tarp. And I made a pile way over here in the corner of the yard. And now there's sticks all in my yard because that's one of the favorite things for my puppy to chew is sticks. So now I have sticks everywhere that I have to clean up. But yeah, she's a puppy. I can't get mad. I wanted her. I love her to death, but she just drives me crazy and she likes to rip everything apart. So I'm learning as I go as far as having this thing put together with the puppy. My other dog could care less, hasn't messed with anything else out here. I can leave, maybe not food, but I can leave anything else out here for a long period of time and he would just care less about it. He wouldn't mess with it. The puppy, on the other hand, if it's anything that I've touched, if she smells me on it, she starts messing with it, wanting to see what it is. And then, of course, since she is a puppy, she's going through her chewing phase and is just chewing everything up. So it is what it is. Like I said, I didn't pay a lot to get that put together, but that's where that thing sits for now. I got to get something. If you guys have any recommendations on how to fix that other than buying a new door, I was looking at new doors at Lowe's, and just for the door, it's like 70 bucks for this size door. So I'm only in this thing like 35, even if I spend the 75, it's going to be a lot cheaper than what I would have paid to get the whole thing put together. But the whole point of this thing is to spend the least amount of money as possible and still have it functioning. So if you guys have any ideas what it is on the bottom of this, you can see I just have that leaned up against it, but that's rotted out and that piece is rotted out. It's just that bottom pole is just floating there. It looks like the previous owner just wrapped it with some wire just to keep that bar down there, and he had a full-size Rottweiler in this thing, so that dog wasn't going to get out from that little bitty area. So for him it wasn't a problem, but for me, considering that my dog is still little, she's like 7.5 months, I think, she's still small enough that she's forcing her way out of there, especially if she can see me. She wants to be somewhere near, you know, anywhere near I am. So it's crazy hot right now. I have other things that I'm going to be doing today, so I'm going to head inside, go finish getting ready, get dressed, and then hopefully I'll take you guys with me so y'all see what else we have going on today.